The IKONN, Threshold Time, Cinematic Sci-Fi Audiobook. Chapter 4. Resonance. Hydro-Medbed / First Pulse. The Hydro-Medbed area had already gone dark. The breathing blue of the walls had withdrawn into the structure, leaving only the faint glow beneath Nail's skin. It was as if the room had chosen to hold one last signal. Kaelen took a step toward the exit. Jalen followed automatically. For both of them, the moment was over. The examination was complete. But the room did not release them. Not by force. Not by command. Only by a pulse that entered the silence and stayed there. Nail stopped. His eyes were fixed on nothing visible, and yet he seemed to be watching something very closely.
The rhythm is different.
He said it so quietly that the words almost sounded like a measurement.
Resonance pattern deviating. Internal source.
Then another voice moved through the same space. Not separate. Not entirely the same. Familiar and unfamiliar at once.
I am Krona.
Kaelen felt the cold before the temperature changed. His hands trembled. He closed them into fists, trying to make the movement disappear. Jalen's breathing grew faster. His chest lifted, held for a moment, then followed a rhythm that did not seem to belong to him alone. Nail's skin began to glow in thin lines. Blue-green. Precise. Alive. Not like an implant activating, like something within him answering. The habitat responded in the same pulse, and the darkness around them took on a breath that was no longer neutral.
We are already in it.
Kaelen wanted to deny it. He wanted to say that they were still in the biosector, still inside procedure, still inside a room with walls, systems, exits, limits. But the resistance stayed caught in his throat. They were not outside it. The room had already taken them in. And the chronicler, born from fragments, wrote what none of them could yet say.
This was the beginning of a shift. Here, the first circles formed.
For a moment, no one moved. The Hydro-Medbed chamber held its breath around them. Then the corridor lock opened without a sound. Cold white light fell across the three of them, sharper than the breathing blue they were leaving behind. The routine of the habitat waited beyond the threshold. Clean air. Bright walls. A corridor that pretended nothing had happened. But something had. Chapter 4. Resonance. Corridor / what remains. The corridor lock opened without a sound. Cold white light fell across them, brighter and harder than the breathing blue of the medbed room. The corridor smelled of filtered air. Clean. Controlled. Routine. Kaelen stepped out first, his shoulders straight, as if posture alone could shake off what had just happened. Jalen followed. He felt the floor beneath his steps, but the afterimage of the resonance still moved through him like an echo.
Mission today or not?
His voice sounded too calm, too controlled.
After what just happened, that is your question?
Why else are we here?
He stopped and looked at him, as if everything could still be pressed into a protocol. Even this. Even what had moved through their bodies.
You want to make it small, call it mission, routine, procedure, anything. But what happened in there?
He nodded back toward the closed door.
That was not protocol.
Kaelen said nothing. For a moment, only the normal life of the habitat moved around them. Steps in distant corridors. Voices behind doors. systems doing what systems were made to do. Then Nail joined them. Quiet, precise, almost unchanged. The glow beneath his skin had faded, but something remained in his eyes, a trace of the resonance.
You will have to allow both. The mission is coming. But this
He touched 2 fingers lightly to his own chest.
will remain.
Kaelen drew in a sharp breath. Jalen watched him for a long moment, as if he wanted to pull the contradiction out of him by force. But he stayed silent. The corridor continued ahead of them, bright, clean, endless, and yet something between them had shifted. Not broken, not resolved, shifted. The habitat did not change its sound. The ventilation still breathed. The light strip still marked the floor. Doors opened and closed with the same soft precision as before. But the 3 of them no longer moved through it in the same way. Kaelen walked as if he could outrun the pulse. Jalen walked as if he could still hear it. Nail walked as if he had expected it. And somewhere beneath the visible systems, the first circle held. Resonance. Hangar / into the field. The hangar vibrated like a heart made of metal. Rows of skimmers rested inside their dock shells, held by light and magnetic fields ready to be released. Voices echoed across the levels. Short commands. Protocol fragments. The sound of systems preparing themselves for motion. Kaelen moved through the noise with precision, every step controlled, every gesture almost ritual. For him, starting a skimmer was not a task. It was a liturgy. Jalen moved differently. Faster, more impatient, as if he could pull the launch signal closer by will alone. They exchanged one last nod. Then their paths separated. Each of them entered his own machine. The canopies closed with a sound like a boundary falling into place. The comm-net opened, a shimmer in the ear.
Check.
Kalen's voice was controlled, a line of steel.
Check.
Jalen's answer was short, but the trace of a smile was still audible. For a moment, only the system spoke. Then Jalen broke the silence.
Do you know what I meant in the corridor?
That was not the time for a debate.
And now, we are outside. Enough distance.
Kaelen did not answer.
You are afraid of becoming part of it.
Still, Kaelen stayed silent.
But every time you fly, you already are. You do not steer against the skimmer. You give yourself to it.
The skimmers released from the hangar shell. Outside, the atmosphere stretched like an ocean of current and light. Magnetic fields glowed. Flow chasms opened and closed like breaths in the distance. A signal flashed across the field, sector marked red. Kaelen dropped into the current, instinctive, precise. His movements were not calculated. They flowed. Every correction happened before he had fully thought it. Jalen followed. His voice stayed close in Kalen's ear.
See, you are already part of it.
A surge ran through the hull. A pressure wave. Kaelen held the course, but he did not fight the machine. He let it lead, where it knew the air better than he did. For a moment, there was no clear line between body and skimmer, between wanting and doing, between command and response.
Did you feel that?
That was not only you.
What?
Just now. Your words. That was not only you.
For a few seconds, the comm-line went still. Then Jalen laughed quietly. Not mockery, not entirely. More like a man trying to keep the impossible in a human shape.
Maybe you are starting to hear voices, Kaelen.
Confirmation. Resonance synchronized. It was enough of him, and yet more.
Kaelen pressed his lips together. He did not answer, but he knew. The habitat was already speaking through both of them. The current ahead of them was restless. At first, it was only a flicker in the field. A small whirl that opened and closed again before the sensors gave it shape. Then a second one appeared. Deeper. Hungrier.
Sector 3. Density is rising.
Jalen reported it without panic. There was something else in his voice. Not alarm. Expectation. Kaelen reacted at once. The skimmer obeyed the smallest movement of his hands, dipping before the flow chasm could fully open. For him, it was almost like breathing. No decision. Only movement.
Always control.
Otherwise you would already be swallowed.
Or carried.
The whirl followed them. Deeper now. Wilder. Kaelen felt the skimmer tremble, as if it did not want to be guided anymore, as if it wanted to be released. His hands tightened around the controls. He knew he could hold the course. He also knew he could let go.
Recommendation. Hold course, risk minimal, and yet the current wants to carry you.
Kaelen closed his eyes for less than a second. Then he loosened his grip. The skimmer tilted, not into chaos, into rhythm. It entered the pull of the vortex and allowed itself to be taken, not dragged, not lost, but carried along the shape of the current. Jalen gave a quiet sound over the comm-line, almost a laugh, almost a release.
You see? That is you.
Kaelen opened his eyes. The chasm broke open around them. Then it let them through. It did not swallow them. Behind him the displays calmed. The warning lines faded back into order. Kaelen exhaled, sharp and long. But he said nothing. Because he knew. He had not only flown, he had been flown.
Kaelen, stay with me.
Jalen's voice was close in the comm. Familiar. Human. But the word me was no longer simple. The habitat moved through it. Cronus entered the loop, close to Kaelen's awareness. Jalen knew it. He was not only sending. In that moment, he became a vessel. A traceholder. Something that kept Kaelen from breaking away. Kaelen heard him. And he heard the other thing. He tore his eyes open and breathed in hard, as if surfacing from deep water. The skimmer stabilized. The indicators settled. But he remained open. Too open. As if he had taken a step that could not be undone.
Kaelen.
Only Jalen's voice now, uncovered.
You are through, and you are still here.
Kaelen drew air into his lungs. He tightened his grip again and felt the world return to shape.
Thank you.
Jalen did not fill the silence. He held the connection.
We are still in mission. Hold on to that.
Then, with a tone half serious, half dry enough to make it survivable, he added,
And if you fall into nowhere again, I will lend you my voice one more time. But do not get used to it.
Kaelen gave a short breath, almost a laugh. Relieved. The commnet held the sound without any other voice entering it, only the two of them. Then more skimmers entered the field. 3, 4, then a whole swarm. Their silhouettes cut dark lines against the streams of light, position markers blinking in the rhythm of the system.
Team voice. Team 2 confirmed. Team voice. 3 online.
Kaelen heard them all. But what he did not hear was the shimmer. Not the one that had moved through him and Jalen. The other teams were clean, functional. Voices without fracture. Voices without echo.
They sound empty.
No, they sound normal.
Exactly.
Ahead of them, the field opened into a chaotic band of currents. Streams locked into each other, pulsing like a tear in space. The displays reported turbulence. Nothing unknown. Nothing the protocols could not cover. Kaelen took hold of the course. He guided, corrected, adjusted. For a moment it was only flying. Pure and clear, the normal still carried. Then, a tremor in the field, almost immeasurable. But there, the indicators stayed neutral. Kaelen felt it anyway. A hidden torque, a fold behind the data.
Notice, interference, source undetermined.
Deviation?
Team voice. No indication.
There is one.
His voice was firmer now.
That is interference.
He loosened his grip again, not to surrender this time. To read, he let the current lead without giving himself away to it. The skimmer tilted into a path that appeared on no display. Jalen followed without hesitation. The tear in the stream closed in front of them, silently, as if it had never existed. The other teams continued forward, steady, correct, blind to what was not written in protocol. Kaelen exhaled. The normal carried. But it was no longer enough.
No, you did not lose something. You gained something.
Kaelen did not answer. He felt that all of them were right.
Forecast, increase in interference. Cause, wave variation. Rhythm unknown.
The message faded through the comm-line as factual as weather. But Kaelen knew this was not weather. It was something that would remain. He looked out into the field of currents, into the rise and fall of the waves. The normal still carried, but now it belonged to something larger, not loss, not replacement, an extension. And he knew he would have to learn to stand in both rhythms at once. To be continued. Next episode 5.